Hello and welcome to my research presentation. The title is, Does Cycling Improve the Western Ontario and McMaster University's Osteoarthritis Index Score for those with knee osteoarthritis? A literature review. I hope you enjoy. It is estimated 250 million adults have osteoarthritis worldwide, with a higher prevalence in women. Knee osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis and is debilitating, affecting physical function, pain and stiffness. It is diagnosed radiographically, symptomatically and clinically. However, I'd like to point out that radiographically is a bit more of an outdated way of diagnosing osteoarthritis, and it's much more common now to be diagnosed symptomatically and clinically. A core treatment recommended to improve symptoms of knee osteoarthritis is aerobic exercise, including cycling. It is low impact and non-weight bearing when compared to other exercises. And this is very completely true. For someone who's got arthritis, they're not going to go and run if you ask them to if they've got a painful knee. Cycling in its nature is much more painless because of its non-weight bearing aspect to it. The Western Ontario and McMaster's University Osteoarthritis Index, otherwise known as the WOMAC, is a widely recognised disease-specific questionnaire for OA, first developed in 1988. It is self-administered and determines the severity of knee OA by assessing pain, stiffness and physical function transformed into a numerical or visual analog scale. The effects of cycling for those with knee OA on the WOMAC score have not yet been synthesized. So I conducted a search of EBSCOhost using all databases on the 8th of October 2019. I used Boolean logic and limiters included only peer-reviewed articles and English as the language. Expanders were apply equivalent subjects. Ultimately, duplicates were removed, which left the titles and abstracts of 88 articles, which I screened for eligibility with inclusion and exclusion criteria. This is seen in Table 1. Now we come on to the inclusion and exclusion criteria, vital for identifying the articles which were going to be included in my study. So studies included in this review were articles involving participants with knee OA completing cycling activities. Exclusion criteria included osteoarthritis in the joints that were not the knee, total knee replacement or arthroplasty, rheumatoid arthritis, causes of OA, lack of relevance to the search, or any study related to lack of cognition. Studies were required to have used the WOMAC as an outcome measure. The included articles were 2 randomized control trials and 2 randomized studies. The modified Downs and Black critical appraisal checklist was used to assess the quality of each article. It is a comprehensive 27 quality assessment checklist, and all studies score between 15 to 20 out of 27 using the quality appraisal checklist, and no studies were excluded. I'm now going to discuss the sample population, which is quite a large topic of the literature review. So overall, there were 109 participants and 89 completed the intervention. The gender ratio was 73 females and 22 males. However, 4 withdrew during one study and the gender losses were not disclosed. The mean ages also varied quite significantly. With one study, the ages were 55.1 with a standard deviation of 10.5 compared to 71.1 with a standard deviation of 6.9. The sample sizes varied from 19 to 39, and the diagnosis varied as well, with symptomatically versus radiographically. The recruitment process varied from medical and non-medical means, and they took place in different locations worldwide, with 3 in the USA and 1 in Australia. And the actual location of the interventions varied as well, from gym, home-based, and a laboratory. Now moving on to the results section, the intervention and control measures. So all studies use a stationary bicycle, one specifically a spinning bicycle, but they all varied in different lengths and intensities. One was for 8 weeks, 4 times a week for 25 minutes. Another was for 10 weeks, 3 times a week for an hour. And 2 studies were for 12 weeks, 3 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes, with one specifically requesting the participants to increase their cycling time to 40 to 45 minutes towards the end of the study. Additionally, there were different feedback mechanisms, including 3 using maximal heart rate and 1 for reps per minute, but overall there was only 100% adherence in one study. Study outcomes and outcome measures of the WOMAC. Although the WOMAC was used in all studies and recorded numerically in a Likert scale, different versions were used, so it proved difficult to compare. 3 studies used the Likert version of 24 questions. 1 study used the pain subscale only. However, overall, the WOMAC score significantly improved in 2 studies, and the pain and stiffness WOMAC subscales significantly improved in 1 study as well. To conclude, cycling significantly improved the WOMAC score in 2 studies, and the pain and stiffness subscales in another study. Therefore, home-based and class-based cycling improved the WOMAC score in those with NEOA with moderate effect. Future considerations: larger sample sizes might prove a greater variance in the results, a greater age range, as we all know that some people get osteoarthritis at a much younger age or a much older age, and different methods of osteoarthritis diagnosis. As I've said, radiographically is slightly outdated, so maybe more relying on symptomatically or clinically. And overall, the long-term effects were not discussed. So it'd be nice to review and see if cycling did improve those with NEOA in the long term on the WOMAC score. Thank you for listening, and I hope that I've covered any questions that might have been asked.